Well, as a musician, I've been working with TikTok for a little while, and they approached me and asked me if they'd like me to be managed by them. So I started getting managed by them a few months ago as the blind drummer. So they've been overseeing these kind of interactions, and I've had pretty good response from them. The problem has been that we have an access issue with TikTok, quite a serious issue. A lot of blind people that are accessing the app can't access it in the same ways as other people. And here's an example. So, as a TikTok create under the TikTok creator program, they've approached me and pushed me as a music creator to do a global competition with them called Music on Stage. Now, that consists of multiple rounds. So there's regions that obviously it's worldwide. So we start off locally, we fight against each other, it gets whittled down. I managed to make it to the regionals, but once we got to the regionals, TikTok told us, you now need to be able to use this feature on the app. This will give you double points every night of the week. So every night that you're competing through the regional finals, you can get double points. And what they didn't do is roll it out to the app that's on the computer version of it, TikTok
Right.
Studio. They did not roll it out to that, which means that for certain blind people like me, who can only access TikTok and stream through TikTok through this app, are not able to access the competition anymore. So I got to the regional stage and had a lot of investment put into me. But at regionals, I could not have access. I was put at an unfair disadvantage to the other users, and I couldn't continue in the competition. Although I don't want to be, pointing fingers at TikTok and being like, you're this, you're that, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. I feel like as a blind person, there's a huge access issue there. I've been stopped in my tracks because I'm using it as a disabled person, and I feel like things like that need to be talked about in public a lot more. I think if things like that were talked about in public a lot more, people might have a lot more awareness of what blind people need and what adjustments they need to be able to access things. Put yourself in the situation of someone in a wheelchair. You would need to make sure that there's reasonable adjustments in place for them to be able to say, get into your venue, or
It's
shopping centre needs a lift.
It's funny you mention this because, like, I can think of several examples, even recently, where like venues just don't like have a ramp, have a lift, anything.
Yeah.
And it's like a really good example. I went to a gig recently, and the area where the lift was, where this wheelchair user needed to get downstairs, was blocked. And like, I didn't work there, but I don't know, I guess I kind of looked like I did. And they were like, hey, can you help me get access to that lift? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then I turned around and there's like two massive tables there in the way. So I had to move like all this shit out the way just so they could get in the lift.